Katie Morgan had been living on the Vorthax homeworld for 18 months. She was a xenobiologist, which meant she studied alien life forms. The Galactic Unity Exchange Program had sent her here to learn about the planet and its people. At first, she had been scared. Anyone would be scared. The Vorthax were predators. They looked like a mix between wolves and giant lizards. They had silver-black scales that shined in the light. They walked on two powerful legs. They had claws that could tear through metal. And they had fangs that held venom strong enough to melt flesh from bone. But Katie had learned something important in her time here. The Vorthax were not monsters. They were people. They had families. They had children. They laughed and fought and loved just like humans did. They just looked different. Very different. The planet itself was beautiful in a dangerous way. Thick jungles covered most of the land. The trees grew so tall that their tops disappeared into the clouds. Strange birds with 4 wings flew between the branches. Insects the size of her fist buzzed through the humid air. Everything here was bigger, louder, and more alive than anything on Earth. Katie worked at a small research outpost near the territory of Clan Ricketh. The clan had welcomed the humans with cautious respect. The Vorthax valued strength and endurance. They had watched the human scientists work through heat and storms and danger without giving up. This impressed them. They called it the persistence madness. Humans, they said, did not know when to stop. They just kept going and going until they got what they wanted. Katie had earned the respect of Clan Ricketh in a different way. She had befriended their children. The cubs of the clan were curious creatures. They had the same scales and claws as the adults, but their eyes were wider and softer. They asked questions all the time. Why do humans have fur only on their heads? Why is human skin so soft? How do humans hunt without claws? Why do humans smile with their teeth showing? Katie answered every question with patience. She let them touch her hair. She let them examine her strange, flat fingernails. She showed them pictures of Earth and told them about dogs and cats and horses. The cubs were fascinated. A creature with no scales, no venom, and no claws had somehow become one of the most successful species in the galaxy. It made no sense to them. But it made Katie very interesting. 3 cubs in particular had attached themselves to her. Thrak was the oldest at 12 cycles, which was about the same as a human 12-year-old. He was serious and protective. He saw himself as a future warrior, and he had decided that Katie needed guarding. Senna was 10 cycles old and full of energy. She asked the most questions and was always the first to try new things. And then there was Voss. Little Voss was only 6 cycles old. He was shy and quiet, but he followed Katie everywhere like a shadow. He liked to sit beside her while she worked and just watch. Katie loved all 3 of them. She would never say it out loud because it might cause problems between the species. But in her heart, she thought of them as family. On the day everything changed, the weather was hot and wet. The air was so thick with moisture that Katie felt like she was breathing through a warm cloth. She had left the outpost early in the morning to collect plant samples from a valley 2 miles away. Her boots made squelching sounds in the soft ground. Sweat dripped down her face. Her shirt stuck to her back. She knew the cubs were following her. They always did. She could hear them moving through the undergrowth about 50 meters behind her. They thought they were being sneaky. They were not. Katie had learned to recognize the sound of their claws on bark and the rustle of their tails through leaves. But she never told them she knew. It would hurt their pride. The jungle grew thicker as she walked. Vines hung down from the branches like green curtains. Flowers the color of blood bloomed on the ground. Katie stepped carefully over roots and rocks. She had learned to watch her feet on this world. One wrong step could mean a twisted ankle or a broken leg. And out here, alone in the jungle, that could be very bad. She was thinking about the samples she needed to collect when it happened. Her right foot came down on what looked like solid ground. But it was not solid. It was a root covered by leaves. Her boot slipped. Her ankle turned. She heard a crack that might have been the root breaking or might have been something in her leg. And then she was falling. Katie hit the ground hard. The air rushed out of her lungs. Pain exploded up her leg like fire. She grabbed her ankle and bit down on her lip to stop herself from screaming. Tears filled her eyes. She took short, sharp breaths through her nose. The pain was very bad. Very, very bad. She looked down at her ankle. It was already starting to swell. The skin was turning red. She tried to move it and gasped at the fresh wave of pain. Not broken, she thought. At least she hoped it was not broken, but definitely sprained. Maybe badly sprained. Katie sat there on the jungle floor, holding her ankle, trying not to panic. She was 2 miles from the outpost. She had her cum unit, so she could call for help, but walking was going to be impossible. And this was the jungle. There were predators here. Not the Vorthax, but other things. Things that hunted by smell. Things that could sense weakness. She reached for her cum unit with shaking hands. Before she could activate it, she heard movement in the bush. 3 young Vorthax emerged from the undergrowth. Thrak came first, his golden eyes scanning for danger. Senna followed close behind, her scales rippling with concern. Little Voss was last, peering out from behind his siblings. They had heard her fall. They had come running. Thrak crouched down beside her. His nostrils flared as he smelled the air. Katie knew he could smell her pain. The Vorthax could smell emotions. Fear, anger, pain. It was all in the sweat and the blood and the hormones. His golden eyes met hers. In them she saw something that surprised her. She saw fear, not fear of her. Fear for her. These 3 predator children were afraid that their human friend was dying. Thrak had seen injured animals before. He had seen prey creatures fall and break their legs. He had seen them try to run and fail. He had seen the fear in their eyes when they realized they could not escape. And he had seen what happened next. The predators came. They always came. The weak did not survive on this world. Now he was looking at Katie, and she was injured. She was sitting on the ground holding her leg. Her face was twisted in pain. Her skin had gone pale. And she could not stand up. In his mind, this meant she was going to die. Thrak moved closer to her. He sniffed the air around her ankle. He could smell blood rushing under her thin skin. He could smell the heat of the swelling. Something was broken inside her leg. Maybe not the bone, but something. She was damaged. Behind him, Senna made a small sound of distress. Voss pressed himself against his sister, his young eyes wide with fear. Katie looked at the 3 cubs. She saw their terror and understood it. To them, an injury like this was a death sentence. Their world was not kind to the weak. She had to calm them down. She forced a smile onto her face. It hurt to smile. Everything hurt. But she did it anyway. Thrak, she said. Her voice shook a little, but she kept it steady. I am okay. I just fell down. I hurt my ankle. Thrak tilted his head. His golden eyes studied her face. You fell, he repeated. From what? A cliff? A high branch? No, Katie said. Just the ground. I tripped on a root. The cubs looked at each other. This made no sense to them. How could a creature hurt itself so badly just by falling on flat ground? They fell all the time when they were playing. They tumbled and rolled and crashed into things. They never got hurt like this. Senna stepped forward. Her scales were rippling in waves, which meant she was very upset. Human Katie, she said. You are not making sense. Creatures do not break from falling on the ground. Katie almost laughed. It hurt too much to laugh, so she just shook her head. Humans do, she said. We are not as strong as Vorthax. Our bodies are more fragile. We can get hurt from things that would not hurt you at all. This information seemed to horrify the cubs even more. Little Voss let out a whimper. He had always thought of Katie as strong. She worked all day in the hot jungle. She carried heavy equipment. She climbed rocks and waded through streams. How could she be fragile? Thrak moved even closer. He lowered his head and sniffed at Katie's ankle again. The swelling was getting worse. He could see it growing under her skin. The color was changing from red to purple. This is bad, he said. This is very bad. You need medicine. You need healing. I have medicine at the outpost, Katie said. She held up her cum unit. I can call my friends. They will come and get me, but Thrak was not listening. His mind was racing. Katie was Pack. She had become Pack without him even realizing it. She fed them treats from her food supplies. She told them stories about her world. She let them sit beside her while she worked. She was patient and kind and never once showed fear when they bared their fangs in excitement. She was Pack. And Pack took care of each other. Thrak stood up straight. He turned to his siblings. Senna, he said. His voice was firm and serious, like an adult warrior giving orders. You will stay here with human Katie. You will guard her. Do not let anything come close to her. Senna's scales stopped rippling. She understood. This was an important job. She nodded once and moved to position herself between Katie and the jungle. Voss, Thrak continued. You come with me. We are going to get the healing things. Katie frowned. She did not like the sound of that. Thrk, she said. What healing things? I have medicine at the outpost. Human medicine. You do not need to get anything, but Thrak shook his head. Human medicine is weak, he said. I have seen your bandages and your pills. They take days and days to work. Our medicine is stronger. It works fast. It will heal you properly. Before Katie could argue, Thrak grabbed Voss by the arm and pulled him into the jungle. Within seconds, they had disappeared into the green shadows. The sound of their claws faded away. Katie stared after them. Her heart was beating fast, and it was not just because of the pain. Senna, she said carefully. What medicine is Thrak talking about? Senna did not turn around. She was watching the jungle, her young fangs showing, her body tense and ready. The healing liquid, Senna said. The one the warriors use after battle. It kills all the bad things and wounds. It makes the flesh clean so it can heal. Katie felt cold suddenly. The humid jungle air seemed to chill against her skin. What is the healing liquid made of? She asked. Senna finally turned her head. Her eyes were bright with pride. Venom, she said. The venom of our people. It is the strongest medicine on our world. It kills everything. Katie's stomach dropped. She knew about Vorthak's venom. She had studied it in her lab. She had seen what it could do. The venom contained enzymes that broke down organic tissue. It was designed to start digesting prey from the inside out. For Vorthax, whose body was completely immune to its own species' venom, it was harmless, even helpful. The enzymes could kill bacteria and parasites without harming Vorthak's flesh, but for a human? For a human, Vorthak's venom was one of the deadliest substances in the known galaxy. One drop on open skin could cause severe chemical burns. One drop in the bloodstream could kill in minutes, and Thrak was running to get as much of it as he could. Katie opened her mouth to call out, to tell Senna to stop her brother. But Thrak was already gone. He was running through the jungle at predator speed, faster than any human could follow. She was going to have to handle this very carefully. She looked at Senna, who had gone back to guarding her. The young Vorthax had no idea what she had just told Katie. She thought she was delivering good news. She thought her brother was doing something wonderful. Katie closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She had to stay calm. She had to think. When Thrak came back with the venom, she would have to find a way to refuse it without hurting his feelings, without making him feel like he had failed, because he had not failed. He was trying to save her life. He just did not know that his medicine would kill her. Katie waited in the jungle with Senna standing guard over her. The young Vorthax took her job very seriously. Her eyes never stopped moving. Her ears twitched at every sound. When a bird flew too close overhead, Senna let out a low growl that made it change direction and fly away fast. Katie watched her and felt a strange mix of emotions. Fear, yes. Fear of what Thrak was bringing back. But also warmth. These cubs were protecting her. They were treating her like one of their own. Like family, she tried to use her cum unit to call the outpost, but the signal was weak in this part of the jungle. The thick trees and strange minerals in the ground often blocked communications. She got nothing but static. She would have to wait until Thrak returned and then find a way to explain everything. Time passed slowly. Katie's ankle throbbed with every beat of her heart. The swelling had gotten worse. The skin was stretched tight and shiny. It hurt to even look at it. Senna glanced back at her. Does it hurt much? She asked. Katie admitted. It hurts a lot. Senna made a sound in her throat. It was almost like a purr, but sadder. I'm sorry, she said. I wish I could make it stop hurting. You are helping, Katie said. You are keeping me safe. That helps a lot. Senna seemed pleased by this. Her scales smoothed down a little. She turned back to watch the jungle. 20 minutes passed. Then 30. Katie was starting to worry. How far had Thrak gone? How much venom was he trying to collect? Her mind kept imagining terrible scenarios. What if she could not stop him from applying the venom? What if he moved too fast? What if he touched her ankle before she could explain? She heard them before she saw them. The sound of claws on tree bark. The rustle of branches being pushed aside. Then Thrak burst through the undergrowth with Voss close behind. Thrak was carrying something. A large leaf had been folded into a pouch like a bag. He held it carefully in both hands, walking slowly so he would not spill whatever was inside. We got it, Voss announced. His small voice was proud and excited. We got the best medicine. Thrak approached Katie and knelt down beside her. His golden eyes were bright with determination. Human Katie, he said. We have brought you the healing liquid. Elder Korath himself gave us this. He said it was his most powerful batch. It will clean your wound and help you heal. He opened the leaf. Pouch. Katie looked inside. Her blood went cold. The pouch was full of thick purple liquid. It glistened in the filtered sunlight. Small bubbles formed on its surface and popped with tiny hissing sounds. The smell hit her nose, sharp and chemical, like acid mixed with something rotten. This was Vorthak's venom. A lot of it. Enough to kill her 10 times over. Katie did not move. She did not scream. She did not pull away. She knew that any sudden movement might make Thrak act faster. He might try to apply the venom before she could stop him. She kept her voice calm and steady. Thrak, she said. Where did you get all of this? Voss bounced on his feet. We went to the elders, he said happily. We told them human Katie was hurt. Elder Korath was there, and Elder Masick, and old grandmother Vera. They all gave us some of their venom. Thrak said you were Pack, and they believed him. Katie's heart ached. These children had gone to their elders and begged for medicine. The adults had given their own venom freely, without question. Just because the cubs said Katie was family. It was the kindest thing anyone had ever done for her, and it would kill her if it touched her blood. She looked at the 3 cubs. Thrak was waiting for her to let him apply the venom. Senna had come closer, her guard duty forgotten in her excitement. Voss was almost vibrating with happiness. They had no idea. They truly had no idea. Katie took a slow breath. She had to tell them the truth. But she had to do it gently. If she made them feel stupid or ashamed, it would damage their relationship forever. It might even damage the relationship between humans and Vorthaks. She reached out and placed her hand on Thrak's arm. He looked at her, confused. Thrak, she said softly, you and Voss have done something wonderful. You went to your elders and asked for their help. You brought back the strongest medicine your people have. That was very brave and very kind. Thrak's chest puffed up a little with pride. Then Katie said, but I need to tell you something important about humans. The cubs went quiet. They could hear the serious tone in her voice. They knew something was wrong. Katie pointed at the venom in the leaf pouch. This medicine, she said. It is perfect for Vorthaks. Your bodies are strong enough to use it. It cleans your wounds and helps you heal because your flesh does not react to it. You are immune. Thrak nodded slowly. He did not understand where this was going, but humans are different, Katie continued. Her voice was gentle but clear. Our bodies are not immune to your venom. To us it is not medicine. It is poison. The word hung in the air. Poison. Thrak single quotes. S scales went pale. The leaf pouch trembled in his hands. Poison, he repeated. His voice cracked. Yes, Katie said. If this touched my blood, it would not heal me. It would hurt me very badly. It might even kill me. Senna made a sound like she had been struck. She stepped backward, her eyes wide with horror. Little Voss burst into tears. Real tears rolling down his scaled face. We almost killed you, he sobbed. We almost killed human Katie. Katie shook her head quickly. No, she said firmly. No, you did not. You tried to save me. You did everything right for a Vorthax. You just did not know that humans are built differently. That is not your fault. You could not have known, but Thrak was not listening. He was staring at the venom in his hands like it was a living snake. He threw the leaf pouch away from him. The purple liquid splashed onto the ground, sizzling where it hit the dirt. I could have killed you, he whispered. I was going to put that on your leg. I was going to push it into your wound. I would have killed you. His whole body was shaking. Katie reached out and took his hands in hers. She pulled him closer until he was looking into her eyes. Thrak, she said. Listen to me. You are a good person. What you did today came from love. You tried to help me because you care about me. That is what matters. Not the mistake. The intention. Thrk stared at her. His golden eyes were wet. How can you not be angry? He asked. How can you not hate us? Katie smiled at him. It still hurt to smile, but she did it anyway, because I know you, she said. I know all three of you. I know you would never hurt me on purpose. And I know that today you showed me something very important. What? Thrak asked. That I'm really part of your pack, Katie said. Because only pack would risk so much to save someone. Only pack would go to the elders and beg for medicine. Only pack would guard a weak, injured human in the middle of a dangerous jungle. She looked at Senna and Voss. You three are my pack too, she said. And nothing is going to change that. The cubs looked at each other. Slowly, their scales began to smooth down. Their breathing slowed. The terror in their eyes began to fade. They had not killed their human. She was still alive. And she still loved them. Voss crept forward and pressed his small body against Katie's side. She wrapped an arm around him and held him close. We will find a different way to help, he said quietly. A human way. Katie nodded and finally activated her cum unit again. This time, the signal was clear. Yes, she said. A human way. The medical team from the outpost arrived 40 minutes later. There were 3 humans in the group, all carrying equipment and looking worried. Dr. Sam Fletcher was in the lead. He was a tall man with gray hair and kind eyes. He had been working with Katie for over a year. Katie, he called out as he pushed through the jungle. Are you all right? What happened? I fell, Katie said. She was still sitting on the ground with the 3 cubs around her. Sprained my ankle. Maybe badly. Sam knelt down beside her and started to examine the injury. His hands were gentle but professional. He pressed on different parts of her ankle and asked her to tell him when it hurt. It always hurt. The cubs watched with fascination. They had never seen human medicine before. Sam pulled out strange tools from his bag. He wrapped a cold pack around Katie's ankle. He gave her pills to swallow. He wrapped the ankle in soft white bandages that looked like clouds. Thrak leaned close to Senna. No venom, he whispered. They do not use venom at all. Senna nodded slowly. She was learning something new about humans today. Sam looked up at the 3 young Vorthax surrounding his patient. He had worked with the Vorthax long enough to recognize the protective stance they were taking. Friends of yours, he asked Katie. Katie smiled. Family, she said. Sam raised an eyebrow, but did not ask more questions. He finished wrapping her ankle and pulled out a pair of crutches from his bag. They were the folding kind, designed for field work, not broken, he said. But it is a bad sprain. You're going to need to stay off it for at least 6 weeks. No walking, no running, no climbing. Rest and recovery, 6 weeks, Voss repeated. His small voice was full of disbelief. It takes that long to heal? Sam looked at the little Vorthax cub. He was used to the questions by now. Vorthax healed fast. They could recover from injuries in days that would take humans weeks or months. Humans heal slowly, he said, but we heal completely. Given time, Katie's ankle will be as strong as it was before. Maybe stronger. Voss thought about this. He turned to Thrak and Senna. Humans are strange, he said, slow but strong. Like rocks. Thrak made a sound that might have been a laugh. It was hard to tell with VORTHAX. Sam and the other two medical workers helped Katie to her feet. They supported her weight and helped her fit the crutches under her arms. The pain was still there, but the cold pack and the pills were starting to help. We need to get back to the outpost, Sam said. Can you walk with the crutches? I think so, Katie said. She took a few awkward steps. The crutches felt strange under her arms, but they worked. She was not putting any weight on her injured ankle. The cubs immediately surrounded her. Thrak walked on her left side. Senna walked on her right. Voss walked in front, checking the path for obstacles. Sam watched this with surprise. They are guarding her, he said quietly to one of the other workers. The other worker nodded. Looks like it. Katie noticed their expressions and smiled. They have been guarding me since I fell, she said. I told you they are family. The walk back to the outpost was slow and careful. Katie moved at a pace that would have driven her crazy on any other day. But the cubs matched her speed without complaint. When she got tired, they stopped and let her rest. When her crutches got stuck in mud, Thrak pulled them free. When she stumbled, Senna was there to catch her. By the time they reached the outpost, word had spread. Other humans had come out to see what was happening. And behind them, in the shadows of the trees, adult Vorthax were watching. Katie saw Elder Korath first. He was massive, even by Vorthax standards. His scales were dark with age and scarred from countless battles. His eyes were deep gold, almost orange. He stepped out of the jungle and approached the group. The humans tensed. Korath was not hostile, but he was intimidating. His claws alone were longer than human fingers. Katie raised a hand to stop her colleagues from doing anything foolish. Elder Korath, she said. She bowed her head slightly in respect. Korath stopped in front of her. He looked down at her wrapped ankle, at the crutches, at the three cubs still surrounding her. Human Katie, he rumbled. His voice was deep and rough, like stones grinding together. My cubs tell me they nearly poisoned you with our gift. Katie nodded. They did tell the truth, she said. But I want you to understand something. Korath tilted his head. He was listening. Your cubs showed me something incredible today, Katie continued. They showed me that the Vorthax do not just tolerate humans, they care for us. Thrak and Voss went to you and asked for medicine. They begged for your venom because they thought it would save my life. That took courage. Korath's eyes shifted to Thrak. The young cub was standing straight and tall, trying to look brave. But Katie could see his legs trembling slightly. They said you were Pack, Korath said. They said you were worth the clan's best medicine. Katie felt her throat tighten with emotion. Then that is what matters, she said. The intent, not the outcome. Where I come from, we have a saying, it is the thought that counts. Your cubs thought of me as family. They tried to help me like family. The fact that the medicine would have hurt me does not change the love behind the action. Korath was silent for a long moment. His ancient eyes studied Katie's face. He was looking for something. Maybe truth, maybe sincerity, maybe something else. Finally he spoke again. You are strange, human Katie, he said. Any other creature would be angry. Any other creature would see danger where we saw medicine. But you see love where there was almost death, Katie shrugged. She winced because the movement made her ankle ache. I have learned a lot from living here, she said. Your people are not so different from mine. We all make mistakes when we are trying to help. The important thing is that we tried. Korath looked at the three cubs again. Then he did something that surprised everyone. He reached out with one massive clawed hand and placed it gently on top of Thrak's head. The young cub froze. You did well, Korath said. His voice was softer now. You acted like a true warrior of Clan Ricketh. You saw a member of your pack in danger and you fought to save her. The mistake was not knowing, not doing. Thrak's eyes went wide. Praise from Elder Korath was rare. It was precious. The elder turned to Senna and Voss, all three of you, he continued. You honored your clan today? You showed that the Vorthax protect those they love, no matter what species they are. Senna's scales puffed up with pride. Voss stopped trembling and stood a little taller. Korath looked at Katie one last time. You have strange ways, human, he said. But perhaps your ways have wisdom we have not learned yet. Rest now, heal, and when you are well again, come to the clan gathering. I wish to speak more with you about these thoughts that count. He turned and walked back into the jungle. The other adult Vorthax followed him. Katie watched them go. She felt something warm spreading through her chest. It was not just relief. It was belonging. She looked down at the 3 cubs who were still standing guard around her. Come on, she said. Let us get inside. I need to sit down. Can we stay with you? Voss asked. His voice was small and hopeful. Katie pretended to think about it. I suppose, she said. If you promise not to bring me any more medicine. Thrak made a noise that was definitely a laugh this time. We promise, he said. The days that followed were strange and wonderful. Katie had expected to spend her recovery alone in her quarters at the outpost. She had expected to read books, watch videos, and talk to her family back on Earth through long-distance communication. She had expected boredom. What she got was very different. On the first morning after her injury, she woke up to find 3 young Vorthax sleeping in a pile near her door. Thrak was curled around Senna, and Voss was tucked between them. Their scales reflected the morning light. Their breathing was slow and peaceful. Katie stared at them for a long moment. Then she smiled. She spent the day in her chair with her ankle elevated on a cushion. The cubs stayed with her the entire time. They brought her water and fruit from the outpost kitchen. They asked the human workers for extra blankets when she said she was cold. They growled at anyone who walked past her door too loudly. Dr. Sam Fletcher came to check on her ankle in the afternoon. He found 3 young predators standing between him and his patient. It is okay, Katie told them. He is my doctor. He is supposed to poke my ankle. The cubs reluctantly stepped aside, but they watched Sam's every move. When he pressed on a sore spot and Katie winced, Thrak let out a low warning growl. Sam looked at Katie with wide eyes. Maybe finish quickly, she suggested. On the second day, the cubs brought Katie food. Real food from the jungle? They appeared with a collection of fruits, herbs, and something that looked like a giant mushroom. They laid it all out in front of her like an offering. We hunted for you, Voss announced proudly. Katie looked at the food. Most of it was actually safe for humans to eat. The cubs had paid attention during her xenobiology lessons. They knew which plants were good and which were poison. Thank you, she said. She picked up one of the fruits and took a bite. It was sweet and tangy, like an orange mixed with a strawberry. This is delicious. The cubs beamed with pride. On the third day, Elder Korath came to visit. Katie was surprised when he appeared at the outpost. The adult Vorthax rarely came this close to the human buildings. They preferred to keep their distance, to observe from afar, but Korath walked right up to Katie's quarters and knocked on the doorframe with one massive claw. Human Katie, he rumbled. May I enter? The 3 cubs scrambled to their feet. Having the elder in their presence was a big deal. Thrak tried to straighten his scales. Senna smoothed down her tail. Voss hid behind his siblings. Please, Katie said. Come in, Korath ducked through the doorway. He was too big for the human-sized room. His head nearly touched the ceiling. His tail draped out the door behind him. He looked around at the small space. He saw the chair where Katie was sitting. He saw the cushion under her ankle. He saw the 3 cubs guarding her. They have not left your side, he observed. No, Katie said. They have been taking care of me. Korath made a sound deep in his chest. It might have been approval. I have thought about what you said, he told her. About the thought that counts. About intentions mattering more than outcomes. Katie waited. She was not sure where this was going. In Vorthax culture, Korath continued, we value strength and action. We judge by results. If a hunt fails, the hunter is blamed. If a battle is lost, the warriors are shamed. We have always believed that the outcome is what matters most. He paused. His ancient eyes studied her face. But you said something that has been circling in my mind, he said. You said that the love behind an action is more important than the action itself. You said that trying to help, even if the help would have been harmful, is still worthy of respect. Katie nodded slowly. That is how I see it, she said. Korath sat down on the floor. Even sitting, he was still taller than Katie. His presence filled the room. I have decided to share your words with the clan, he said. Not as law, but as wisdom. A new way of thinking. Perhaps sometimes the thought does count. Perhaps sometimes good intentions deserve honor, even when the results are bad. Katie felt her heart swell. That means a lot, Elder Korath, she said. Thank you. Korath looked at the 3 cubs. And you 3, he said. You will remember this day. You will remember that you tried to save a life with all your heart, and that your effort was honored. When you grow older and become warriors, you will teach this lesson to others. Thrak stood up straight. I will remember, he said. His voice was solemn. Me too, Senna added. Me too, Voss whispered from behind his siblings. Korath nodded. Then he rose and ducked back through the doorway. Before he left, he turned one last time. Heal well, human Katie, he said. The clan looks forward to seeing you at the gathering. Then he was gone. The weeks passed slowly. Katie's ankle healed little by little. The swelling went down. The purple color faded to yellow, then to her normal skin tone. The pain became an ache, then a twinge, then just a memory. Throughout her recovery, the cubs never left her. They slept near her door every night. They brought her food every day. They carried her things when she could not carry them herself. They helped her practice walking when she started physical therapy. The other humans at the outpost watched all of this with amazement. They had lived alongside the Vorthax for months, but they had never seen anything like this. The predator cubs were treating the human woman like she was the most precious thing in the world. Sam Fletcher asked Katie about it one evening. They really love you, he said. Katie looked at Thrak, who was practicing his hunting stance in the corner. At Senna, who was sorting through a pile of interesting rocks she had collected. At Voss, who had fallen asleep with his head resting on Katie's uninjured foot. I love them too, she said. 6 weeks after her injury, Katie took her first steps without crutches. She was wobbly at first. Her ankle felt weak and strange, but it held her weight. The cubs cheered. They jumped around her in circles, their scales flashing with excitement. You are healed, Voss shouted. Human Katie is healed. Katie laughed. She wiggled her ankle back and forth. There was no pain, I told you, she said. Humans are stubborn. We always heal. That evening, Katie went to the clan gathering for the first time since her injury. She walked the whole way on her own 2 feet. The cubs stayed close beside her, ready to catch her if she stumbled. But she did not stumble. The Vorthax of Clan Ricketh watched her approach. They saw the soft human walking among them without fear. They saw the 3 cubs who guarded her like warriors. They saw the smile on her face. Elder Korath raised his clawed hand in greeting. Human Katie, he called out. Your pack has missed you. Katie felt tears prick at her eyes. She blinked them away. I'm glad to be back, she said. That night, she sat by the clan fire and listened to the Vorthax tell stories of great hunts and fierce battles. The cubs sat on either side of her, pressing their warm, scaled bodies against her arms. She looked up at the alien stars in the alien sky. She thought about Earth, so far away. She thought about her human family, who she missed every day, and she thought about her new family. Sitting right beside her, the universe was a big and dangerous place. But it was also full of love. Full of creatures who would do anything to protect the ones they cared about, even if they accidentally tried to poison them with the deadliest venom in the galaxy. Katie smiled and leaned her head against Thrak's shoulder. She was home, years later. When Katie Morgan wrote her final report on the Vorthax integration program, she included a special section about cultural misunderstandings. She wrote about how different species could have completely different ideas about medicine, healing, and care. She wrote about how fear of the unknown could be overcome with patience and communication, and she wrote about 3 young predators who taught her the most important lesson of all. Love looks different in every culture. It speaks different languages and takes different forms. But at its core, love is always the same. It is trying to help. Even when you do not know how. It is guarding someone through the long dark night. It is bringing your deadliest venom as a gift, because you believe it will save a life. That, Katie wrote, is what it means to be Pack. The end.